you can make a PowerPoint about dinos and present it to your cat. That sounds like a fun Friday night activity. Field trip to a church, I don't know. Maybe you really want to learn more about sword fighting because you are always reading fantasy books. Here is my Notion page. Learning equals growth, which equals happiness. Let's get to what my classes are so that I can show you this. I'm excited. Hello everyone, my name is Brooke and I am a fantasy writer. Welcome to my channel. I usually make videos related to vlogs and writing. One of my 2025 goals was to create a self-learning curriculum. Today, I'm showing you what I have made so far, so that maybe you can do it too, because it's kind of fun. So to start this off, I graduated post-secondary school in 2023 with a diploma in video game design. It was a lot of fun. I want to go back to school for creative writing, but I don't have the money and I will never live in a city again. So I've decided to create my own learning curriculum. I can't take all of the credit for this idea though. The first YouTuber that I've seen do this is Kate Kavanagh. I'll put her stuff right here. I'll also link her channel in the description. But I first seen her do this, like her own self-learning curriculum, and it was really writing focused. And I thought that was so cool. So I was like, I have to do my own. So give full credit to her. She was the one where I seen this first. But basically what the idea of a self-learning curriculum is, you kind of curate your own classes from your own interests. The main gist of it is each class has a main goal and then kind of a secondary goal and then a final checklist or checkpoints for along the way as you progress through your goal. But there is more fun stuff than that. So for example, the main goal could be learn how to outline a story. The smaller goals that would pertain to that main goal would be learn the Save the Cat story structure. And then checklists or checkpoints along the way of, all of those smaller goals so that you make sure you're basically learning everything you need for outlining said story. The class is not just to learn how to write a book. That's not a class per se. But if you break it down into like what that class specializes on, you just think of post-secondary classes. They all, there's so many classes that lead up to one main idea. So I'm gonna split this video into two parts, basically. So in part one, I'm gonna take you through the 4 classes that I have made so far. And then part 2 is going to be ways you can learn / teach yourself these subjects that you're gonna pick with a fun dinosaur example. We'll get to that later. And I will also rapid fire just some other curriculum ideas for writers or book lovers, and then also just ideas for regular things, I guess, non-book related things. Okay, so gonna start right off. I'm gonna show you my overview of my chosen classes that I have made. I'll take you through how I came up with them, the main goals and the sub goals, and then also the checklists that I have made for me to follow along the way while I progress through the class. To do that though, I'm going to take you to my desktop. So let's go over there to my Notion page. If you would like to do this, which I hope you would, I hope I can convince you, I'll be providing the Notion template in the description for free. So if you would like to try this after you see me go through it and make your own classes, there you go, it's ready to use. All you need is a Notion account, and I'll get more into that later. But for now, let's get to what my classes are so that I can show you this. I'm excited. Here is my Notion page. So to start off right here, I have my classes and my timeline. Pretty simple. Let's go through my first class, which I decided to pick, which is not a writing related one. It is just a fun one. It is a space and science class because I have always wanted to learn more about space and science, and it's just a random subject that I'm not gonna go to school for it, so I just wanna learn myself. I wrote all of these as if it was an actual class syllabus, just so you know it's going to sound like that. So the main goal of this class is to expand your general knowledge about space and science, about space and space events. Hold on. Expand your general knowledge about space and science events. The course description. In this course, you will learn fun things about space and space events. Simple enough. I guess, you know what? I guess I did. Space and science? Space and science? Whatever. By consuming books and documentaries, you will learn the basics about constellations, the history of Apollo 11, how black holes work, and other such fun facts that you can share at social gatherings. The things that I was most excited about was field trips. I'm going to take myself on field trips for these. So, for field trips, The only one I have is the Tell Us World of Science, which is in the city near me. That's all I have right now. But that is probably one of the field trips I'm like most excited about. So then moving on to required textbooks and media. Here we just have, books and any documentaries, YouTube series, whatever that pertains to this class. So it's basically all your materials, right? Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm probably gonna just get that from my library. Apollo 11 documentary. Cosmos documentary. These are just things that I Googled, by the way, and I just was like, what's the best space documentary to watch? These came up. Interstellar movie, because I've watched it before, but I don't really remember much of it, and I feel like, it's a good movie. So I'd like to watch it again and maybe learn some stuff. I don't know. So then lastly, for this space and science class, I have checklists and checkpoints. In this course, you will learn how to identify basic constellations, because I love looking at the stars and being like, wow, look, it's, the Big Dipper. That's about the only one that I can identify. So it'd be cool to know other constellations. The history of Apollo 11. Probably learned that from the Apollo 11 documentary. How the fuck black holes work, because I don't understand that. And then just cool facts about space, just to bring up in conversation so that I can be cool. In this course, you will create. So I wanted to include things that I will learn and things that I will create, kind of separate categories. In this course, you will create a detailed painting of space. This kind of hits two birds, one stone, actually, because I just want to get more into painting again. So I get to learn about space and then paint a painting about space. So it's just kind of like a little fun, little fun project. And I will also create an article on your favorite space fact / event, which, you know what, I'm really excited about that. In school when you create like those like little articles and stuff for like a certain topic, that's what I want to do, but with like space. And again, this is just for fun. I'm not getting graded on it. This is purely just for myself. So that wraps up the space and science class. Moving on to the next one, publishing for indie writers. I have each class kind of on a timeline for like when I want to roughly learn these classes, because it's not going to be like 1 month. I'm going to give myself time to learn these things. So I have the space and science one scheduled for this quarter, the first quarter. And then I have the publishing for indie writers, and also in this quarter, because I'm planning on finishing my work in progress within the first quarter of this year. So I think me learning about publishing and stuff leading up to me finishing that will just like line up really good, with my writing and trying to indie publish. So publishing for indie writers. The main goal of this class, create a roadmap / plan to publish your manuscript confidently and effectively, and explore financial needs for publishing indie. These are things that I think are very important for publishing. So that's the stuff that I want to learn about in this class. Course description. This course explores the fundamental basics of what it takes to publish a book as an indie author. Topics explored will include beta / ARC readers, formatting, external publishing platforms like KDP and Ingram Spark, indie publishing expenses, book covers and query letters for your own publishing uses. Because again, I'm not going to be traditionally published, but I would still like to write a query letter. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I still want to make one of those letters because I want to act as if I'm taking this as seriously. And I feel like having a query letter is just really good for yourself, so you know exactly what your story is about. Field trips for this class include visiting the public library, because that is all I could think about. Required textbooks and media. The Elements of Style by William Strunk and E. White, which this is actually a book that I bought while I was reading Stephen King's On Writing like memoir. While I was reading that, he recommended this book. I haven't read it, so I'm including that in this class. Also, Self-Editing for Fiction Writers by Rennie Brown, which I just want to, I don't know, I can borrow it through my library, so I think I'm just gonna listen to that. And I don't know if I'm gonna be self-editing my books per se, but I feel like it would still just be a good thing to learn. And then also YouTube. I have a feeling that I'm going to be learning most of the publishing for indies probably through YouTube. I haven't found a YouTube series yet, but I have a feeling that's where I'm going to get most of my information. Checklists and checkpoints for this class. In this course, you will learn how to find and process beta / ARC readers, how to format manuscript for ebook and paperback, which I'm really excited about that because I think I have the programs to do it. I think I can do that myself, which will save me money, which is great as an indie writer. How to purchase ISBN numbers because yeah, you have to do that. You have to buy, the book, the scan numbers. So I think you have to buy like 10 at a time. I don't know. I'm gonna learn how to do that. The pros versus cons of Ingram Spark and Kindle Direct Publishing, because they're two platforms. I don't really know which one I'm gonna go for. If I'm gonna do like put my book up for, let's say, Kindle Unlimited, I'm not too sure. I don't know yet. So I would like to learn more about that. You also learn how to publish to Ingram Spark and KDP, because I've heard a lot of horror stories from other authors and writers where it goes really horribly wrong, and I don't want that to happen. So I would like to learn how to publish it correctly so that my book doesn't, go onto Amazon prematurely and get published, because I've seen that. So and then also just how to create and format a book cover, because as an artist, you can see actually my artwork in the back. I want to create my own book cover. I've never done something like that before. And I know, making a painting versus a book cover is a lot different, but I have been getting more into digital art recently. So in this course, you will create a personal list of publishing steps. I want my own list. I know you can Google it and all that, but I need my own list. I will also create a spreadsheet of personal costs for indie publishing, but I would like to know what I'm getting into. I know indie publishing is expensive because you're doing it yourself. See how much that I can do myself, because I am a frugal gal and I like doing things by myself. In this course, you will also create a query letter for personal use. Again, just so that I can have this professional letter explaining what my book is about, how I'm marketing it, how I'm selling it, the genre, all that information, just for myself, so that I know what I'm doing. Because I would like to know what I'm doing. All right, next class, Kickstarter for beginners. I always love the idea. I see authors do Kickstarters for special editions of their books, and I would love to do that. I don't know if I will, but I want to learn more about it at least. So I have this Kickstarter for beginners class. The main goal of this class is to gain a basic understanding of how to launch and fulfill a successful Kickstarter campaign. The course description: this course will explore the start to finish aspects of running a Kickstarter campaign for special edition books, because that's what I would like to do it for. From creating tier level rewards and stretch goals, financial requirements, advertising campaigns, and how to fulfill orders and ship items to pledgers, which is what I'm most terrified about. For this one, field trips, there's no field trips. Moving on to the required textbooks and media. I have the Kickstarter starter kit by Kayla Ann, which, if you don't know her, she's on Instagram. She's an amazing author, writer. She's done some special edition Kickstarter campaigns for her books, and they're so beautiful. I supported one of her Kickstarters, and I actually, in return, got a Kickstarter starter kit ebook. So, which is really nice of her to provide, because she does have like these little classes on her Instagram too. And I think she also has a YouTube, actually. So I'll link it here. But she did little classes for people who want to get into Kickstarters. So I am going to be following that. I'm going to be reading the free ebook that I got from her, as well as I have a Kickstarter for authors Facebook group, which again, I got word of from Kayla Ann, but you can join it if you'd like. And I'm going to be using that. I think I'm going to be probably looking through old posts. If I have any questions, I can post there. I can ask people who have actually done Kickstarter campaigns. So I feel like that's an important part. As well, I'll probably watch Kayla Ann's YouTube series, and probably just any other YouTube things that I can find about Kickstarter campaigns. So in this course, you will learn how to create tier level rewards and stretch goals, how to create and order special edition versions of your book, because that is terrifying. I have heard horror stories of people ordering thousands of dollars worth of books and they come in damaged and they have to eat the cost. So that is the biggest turn off for me with Kickstarter. I'm terrified of that happening. What it takes financially to fulfill a campaign, how to advertise a campaign and gain pre-launch followers, how to create a successful campaign page, because you need to, really think about what your entire landing page is going to look like, the vibes, the aesthetics, what are you giving off, what kind of information to provide, to learn about that, as well as how to fulfill orders and ship items to pledgers, because that might be the scariest part, I think, is the whole ordering all these books and then sending them out, shipping them out. Because I also live in Canada, and I feel like there's less Kickstarter campaigns for books in Canada. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of Instagram, but like all the ones that I follow are in America, and I know it's a lot harder to get people to support a Kickstarter when they have to pay for international shipping, which is a lot of money. So I don't know how popular, if I was to do a campaign, how popular would it be in Canada really? So we'll have to look into that too. Maybe I should add that to the list. In this course, you will create a mock-up tier level reward and stretch goal list for current work in progress. So this would be me being like, hey, if I wanted a special edition, what would be the tier levels and like stretch goals? What would I want as like the special edition? Am I going to include special bookmarks? Am I going to have sprayed edges on this special edition? Is the special edition going to have a different cover? What other tier kind of rewards can I do? I see some authors where they have like 3 annotated versions of their book, so the author will go through and like, you know, underline things, highlight things, whatever, write little notes, and then those 3 books are like at the final tier. So if you want like an annotated copy from the author itself, then you can, you know, support that tier and you get that plus all, you know, like a paper book version or like a hardback ebook versions usually also. So I would just like to make a list of, if I were to do this, what would that include? I'd also like to create a spreadsheet of financial costs of fulfilling the campaign, because that is important, and an entire practice campaign page for my current work in progress. So if I were to make that landing page, you know, on the Kickstarter site, what would it look like? What kind of information would I provide? What kind of banners would I make? You know, like, what am I trying to show about this book, basically, and how to obviously convince people to support it so that we can get cool special editions. That is the Kickstarter for Beginners course. Now the 4th and final class is Writing Craft 201, not 101, because I have read Writing Craft books. I feel like I know some of it. So this is kind of like the next class above it. It's a 201 class. You know what I mean? We're kind of diving a little deeper into what we've already learned. The main goal of this class, to expand your knowledge of writing craft, past the basics and into the more advanced. The course description. In this course, you will explore more advanced writing craft techniques, such as creating high fantasy worlds, which is basically like, you know, more in-depth world building. Series building, because that's scary, planning, you know, an entire series of books rather than just a standalone. How to outline and draft books faster, because, you know, I would like to learn how I can kind of optimize myself, as well as creating complicated character arcs. I have this class scheduled for July to September, which I'm hoping kind of by then I might be doing the second draft of my book, of Project Everly. You know, maybe I can take that information while I'm writing the second draft. I feel like it'll line up good. I don't know. We'll see. I might change it. Again, no field trips. I can't go anywhere for this. Other than maybe, you know what, maybe a coffee shop? Let's write that in. Coffee shop. That can be my field trip. I didn't spell coffee right. There we go. Required textbook and media. I would like to include the Brandon Sanderson's writing lectures via YouTube. I'm like over halfway through his first thing of classes, but recently he announced that he's doing another writing lecture class basically on his YouTube, so like an updated one. So now I'm like, do I finish that old one or do I just start this new one? I don't know. We'll see, but those are classes that I want to take. If you haven't heard about them and you want to be a writer, holy shit, go start there. He is an amazing author, of course, and writer. And the way he explains things on how to make stories, it just makes sense to me. So I watch those lectures on YouTube, which they're totally for free and they're actual like university lectures. And I just take notes as I'm watching them. I also want to read Story Genius by Lisa Cron. I have the book, but I haven't read it yet. I read Save the Cat, and I feel like that's the first book that everybody reads. So I like to read Story Genius, see how I can kind of, you know, focus more on creating the story good rather than just outlining. I already figured out how to outline stuff. I have my own way. So now I just want to learn more about the actual storytelling element. So there's that. And then also Wired for Story by Lisa Cron again. I've just heard that this is a good book. And I can get the audiobook on the Libby app. So there's no wait list. And then also just books similar to my work in progress. It'll help me write, because if you read the genre that you're in, usually you can write about it better. So I think just reading books that would be similar of where I want my book placed will really help me get to know the genre better, and also maybe my audience. So in this course you will learn high fantasy world building. As I said, I want to flesh that out, you know, probably through the Brandon Sanderson videos, because he just explains that kind of stuff so well. Complicated characters and arcs. I want to flesh out those characters too. I want my world building and characters to be, you know, amazing. As well as series building. I do have a work in progress that might be a series. I'm not working on it right now. Obviously, I'm focusing on my one project, but I might want that to be my next. After I finish this, I want to work on that next. So, and that is a series. And series is scary, so I would like to learn more about how to plan series before I start writing them. And last, I would like to learn how to outline and draft books faster, because I feel like at this point, if I've already finished, my first draft, I want to refine that and make it so that I'm not holding myself back so much, because I know I do that. The last part of this, in this course, you will create a multi-series story outline. Yeah, so this is where my other work in progress comes in effect. I kind of have a rough idea of it already, but for this class, this is what I want to create. I want to create a multi-series story outline. So I want to have the whole series, from start to finish, spread out, so that I know how to best tell a story over the course of multiple books. Because I've only ever, just done one book, and it's easy, it goes up and down, but series, it has to go up and down, and that's a little intimidating. And I'd also like to create a high fantasy world building binder. So I kind of made up this term myself, but I want to have a fantasy world that is just so fleshed out in all aspects, magic, religion, locations, environments. I really want to have a full thing. So I think that will also probably go with that work in progress that I'll be making the multi-series story outline with. So I'll probably be doing those side by side. And I scheduled this one for later in the year, because hopefully by then I'll have more time. I don't know, we'll see. That's my 4 classes that I've created. So as I said before, this is Notion template. You can get it for free in the description. It has all the classes, it has the timeline, but I did include on the template a little brainstorming section, so that when you're thinking of kind of classes you want to make, you can write them down. And then I also have an archive, so that if you have class ideas but you don't want to do anything with them right away, you can just put them in the archive for later. So make sure to go check that out. I'm very proud of it. Now on to part 2 of this video, how you can create these classes for yourself. Also, how are we liking this lighting? Is it good? Because I have a ring light, and I know it flexes in my glasses. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it, okay? I just thought that this lighting might be better than, just my lamp over here in the corner. Let me know, please. Let me know in the comments what you think. I need your feedback, okay? Please. So, ways to learn, which at the end, I will use a fun dinosaur example. I'm very excited to share it. Please stay around. The ways you can learn these classes, things that you can do basically. Watch YouTube series, movies, TV shows, documentaries, anything about that topic. I want you to take notes. Give yourself homework if required. Don't get caught up with just consuming the thing and think that it's learning. I want you to actually, take notes. Recognize what you're watching and what you're absorbing. The second thing you can do is to read a book about that topic and study it. Once again, I don't want you to just, read a book, which that is great, but, maybe take some notes. Maybe annotate it, write some notes on it. That's fun. Answer self-asked questions. If you don't know what this is, if you want to look more into that, write it down. Also do some external research. Look into what else the book talks about. Maybe, like I said, I was reading the one Stephen King memoir book, and he suggested a different book. So I got that book. The third thing you can do is create a test or find one and pass it. Basically to just track your learning progress. Give yourself a little quiz. See if you can remember some things. Make your own, or if you can find it, if it is a subject you could find maybe a pre-made quiz or little test. There you go too. The fourth thing you can do, take an in-person or hands-on class. I know, as an introvert, I don't want to do this. I wouldn't want to do this, but I think it's important to push yourself out of your comfort zone, especially with learning, because that can be something that is very valuable. So you can attend a lecture about the topic, you can go to a workshop, or any just social gathering. So, a book signing or an art gallery, an art walk, art event, whatever. For example, if I knew that there was going to be a space art walk about space, I would go to that event, because that's kind of learning, that pertains to my space and science class. It doesn't have to be exactly, but if it works, it works. You're having fun, you're learning. That's all that matters, okay? The fifth one, which one's funny. Write a paper or make a PowerPoint presentation. I know, just like you're in high school again. It's gonna be so much fun. Write a school research paper. Include pictures and diagrams as much as you can create yourself. I just think that's so fun to have this little paper, and it is, again, just for yourself. Like, there's no one grading it. You can give yourself an A+. It's just making learning fun. But also create a PowerPoint. And I know this might give you horror flashbacks to college or high school, but maybe present it to like your friends or your family or your partner, whoever will listen. Your cat. You could show this presentation to your cat, okay? I just think it's fun to put together little presentations and make themes and pictures and little diagrams. You get it. It's funner creating it than it is presenting it, but in this case, you can present it to whoever you want. Of course, the last one, field trips. I think this really brings it out. It brings me back to high school when we would get to do field trips, more so middle school actually. For example, the field trip that I'm going on, one of the biggest ones that I'm excited about is the Telus World of Science, which is basically a space science museum that pertains to my space and science class. You see? Yeah. So it could be libraries for fun research. So if you don't really have like a topic where you're like, I don't know what field trip it could go in because I'm learning things, go to a library. There's your field trip. You get to go out. You get to like pick a book off the shelf, read it as you're, doing research. I don't know. Museums. This can be to learn about anything. It can be about histories, but also maybe like the history about certain writers if you're looking into like writing craft or whatever. Go to a park. When in doubt, I live in Canada. It's winter right now. That's not gonna happen. But parks, to get fresh air, you can plan activities to do there too, so you can like bring your kind of class activities to do it out in the park. And there you go, field trip. Boom, make a picnic out of it. Also historical sites. It could be like places that books are based off of. That would be cool if you live around something like that. It can be fiction or nonfiction. So whatever you make of that, these are just some examples for some fun field trips. To use all of these, I have made a dinosaur example. Taking you back to my computer, the Dino Class 101 example. So this will be included in the Notion template, just as an example, so that when you download it, you kind of know what you're going to be filling in. Dino Class 101 example. The main goal of this class, learn more about the history of dinosaurs in your area. This is a class that I've just completely picked at random. This is not something that I'm actually learning, but I thought it would be fun. Course description. In this course, you will expand your knowledge about dinosaurs, particularly their local history in Northern America. Topics focused on will include the first and final moments of the dinos, different species / types of dinos, their history today, and the role that they played in the ecosystem. So field trips. Here's some examples. Dino Museum. I don't know if there's one in your area. There's one a bit of a ways from me, but museum. Learn about dinosaurs. Local libraries for research. Go sit in a library and read books about dinosaurs. That sounds like fun. That's a fun field trip. Required textbooks and media for this dinosaur class. The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Stephen Brissett. Get it from your library, read it. Maybe it's at the library. Field trip, read the book. That would be fun. Jurassic Park movie. Make this fun, okay? It doesn't have to be a documentary. You don't have to always be learning. Watch the fun movies too. So Jurassic Park. There you go. Planet Dinosaur. That's a documentary, which honestly that kind of looked interesting. I would watch it myself. Finally, the checklist checkpoints. In this course, you will learn how the dinos raised and fell, how the dinos affected the ecosystem, the history of dinos in today's world, and how they're portrayed. The 700 different species of dinos. Okay, this one sounds crazy. You don't actually need to, learn and memorize the 700 different species of dinos, but, maybe like look into a bunch of them and just like pick your favorite. And also your local history of dinosaurs. Look in your area. If I was doing this, that's what I would be looking in my area. See what kind of dinosaurs were really common. And lastly, in this course, you will create a PowerPoint about your favorite dinos, which, as I said, this is a fun thing to do. I think you can make a PowerPoint about dinos and present it to your cat. That sounds like a fun Friday night activity. You will also create a scientific research paper on dinos that lived in your area. Again, I want to see the cute little graphs. I want to see pictures. I want to see citations. Take this seriously. But it is just for you, and you can give yourself an A anyways. There's some fun things that you can do. You can really focus on, making it fun and enjoyable, because that's what it's supposed to be. Moving on to the second part of this part, I guess, technically. Other curriculum ideas for writers and book lovers. I think you could do a class on a topic that you've always wanted to learn about, and that topic is like from a book. So like maybe you really want to learn more about sword fighting because you are always reading fantasy books where the main character, she learns sword fighting and how to, swing a dagger. There's your class. Medieval fashion. I don't know, if you read a lot of romantasy books and you really like the fashion in it and you want to learn more about it, maybe for your own work in progress or just pure enjoyment, learn more about dragons. And I know this is, you're probably reading it in a fantasy book like Fourth Wing or Onyx Storm, which, by the way, Onyx Storm is coming out tonight. Interesting. I'm on the waiting list for the audiobook on Libby, so we'll see how soon I get that book. Learn about dragons, and it can be like the lore of dragons in like, our history compared to like fiction books, whatever. The history of fantasy elves. Learn about Tolkien. He basically created the elves, so look into that. Learn about assassins. Now, I don't know personally if there is such thing as an assassin, like class you could go to for a field trip. Maybe you can learn about real life assassins. Do some workout. I don't know. These are just ideas. Also, I think a fun one would be connected to, this topic that you've always wanted to learn about, maybe from a book, is languages, okay? You can learn Tolkien's Elven language. That would be sick. You could speak, like, you're like Arwen, I would do that. Or like Game of Thrones, High Valyrian. There you go. Dothraki, I think. Is that the language? Don't quote me on that. But learn the languages from the books. That would be a cool class. That would be a cool flex at a party if you're like, yeah, I can speak Elvish. So another curriculum idea is basically for book lovers, and it's just like a specific book that you just love. Like you're gonna dig into this book like it's English class in high school. You've been given this book and you have to read it, chapter by chapter, write notes at the end, maybe answer questions. I don't know. That's how I want you to take this, okay? Deep dive into that. I want you to open this book. I want you to be annotating, writing notes. I want you to answer questions. If there is such thing like a trivia, that would be cool. Like if you look, I'm sure there's something like, for like if you loved Akotar, no doubt there is a trivia for that. Reread the books, make your own notes, play some trivia. Plus, if the book has a movie, then you get to watch the movie. You can see if the movie's better or the book. Usually it's the book. Look at author websites. Stephanie Meyer, the author of Twilight, she has so much like lore and history on her website still to this day of like when she first started writing these books, and they used to be on like I think a Tumblr account. Look on authors' websites, like your favorite authors, see what other kind of like lore they have, behind the scenes stuff. Dig into this book, okay? I want you to know everything there is about this book after this fandom, okay? Speaking of fandoms, join a book club or fan club for that book. That could be fun. It could probably be online, most likely it will be, but that could be fun. Now, for the book writers, research a topic that is prominent in your book. So it's kind of like a class, and it works for fantasy, like a lot. If your character that you're writing is an assassin, guess what? You're gonna need to learn about assassins. You're gonna need to learn how they work. Or you can learn things about like weapons. What kind of weapons were used? Maybe even though your book might be a fantasy, it's still set in like a certain time period, so what would realistically be available to your characters? Foods as well, so that your book isn't always just, like, I got a piece of bread and cheese and an apple. Like even another topic, like if you have military like themes in your book, or like, I'm thinking Fourth Wing, how they have all the different rankings of like people. I wouldn't know anything about that. So if you're writing about that, that could be a class, learn more about how that system works so that you can implement it in your own writing. See, it's fun. You can give any of your ideas that you have would work for this. Like anything that you are writing about and you just want to learn more about, make it a class. Give yourself a month or like even just 2 weeks to just learn everything that you can about this one topic for your book. And I think that could really help. Now to just rapid fire some normal ones, I would label them. Teach yourself an instrument through YouTube. Listen to music pertaining to that instrument, whatever you're learning. Go to a live show of the instrument. That could be fun, like a fun little field trip. Join a band or music group. I know, I wouldn't do this, but it's an idea. Spirituality. Maybe have a spirituality class. Read books about religion. Join a group in person or online, however you want to. A field trip to a church or a religious site, which it kind of sounds weird just being like, field trip to a church, I don't know. If you live in an area and you have, that religious like history that you could actually go to, that would be cool. That would be cool to do. Maybe you're horrible at math and you want to get better at it, learn more about it. If you really want to, I wouldn't, but YouTube tutorials is the only thing I can suggest, or join online forums like groups, that sort of stuff. Reddit would probably be a big help. Maybe you want to have a gym class, which this could make working out fun. So if you have any like 2025 New Year's resolutions for like working out, give yourself like a gym class. Like you're in gym now. Create a fun gym plan though. Volleyball, basketball, tennis, like badminton. Just play, how in gym class you would just you go around to like the different activities? Do that. That sounds fun. I don't know, get some friends, go play volleyball if you don't live in Canada in the middle of winter like me. If you were to do a gym class, may I suggest, field trips could include something like a trampoline park. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but those are really fun. And it's a workout, so, you're going, it's gym class and you get to go to a trampoline park. Or a swimming pool. Swimming is a good workout, and that could be your gym class. My next idea is a social class, which to me, social is like history and government in Canada. So maybe you just want to learn more about societal things, government, politics, whatever. You want to learn and become a part of it in the world. Read books about them, look at the history in your area, take part in events. You could join or volunteer in like an activist group. Field trips to a museum or government building, that would be a cool one if you have anything in your area. The last real life one that I have to suggest is like science class, which is kind of what my space and science class was. But it can be like space or biology or chemistry, whatever you want. Read the books about it, watch the documentaries, read scientific papers, because those are fun. They make you feel like very fancy, You can probably get those through like libraries, I'm guessing. Sign up for newsletters. This is a fun one because you can sign up directly to like learn more about like space and science, and then you get this little newsletter and then you read it. And then like a field trip to a space or museum, like science center, again, whatever is in your area, or maybe a virtual one. Sometimes there is virtual tours for these kind of things, so Google it. So in conclusion, the overview of this is learning is fun. Keep it fun, okay? That's the only rule. You can't fail a class. You made these classes, you can't fail them. There is no real money on the line that you'll lose, even if you could fail them, so it's just your time. And if you spend the time, you'll have fun, I promise. In the end, learning equals growth, which equals happiness. If you're really caught up, in your day-to-day life, and you're just not really feeling very challenged in your mind, this is a great way to do it. Just make your own class. And again, it can be 2 weeks, it could be a month, it could be 5 days, however you want to, create your pace, basically. And I feel like I just want to leave you with just release the pressure of learning and just focus on the simple curiosity, aspect of it. Go wherever you want to go when you're learning. If you feel like you need to veer more into this, learn more about that, do it. Follow your curiosity, not just, you need to hit these specific things, because things change. And this isn't a set program. You're making it yourself. You can make it up as you go. That's really what I want this to be about. Whether it's about writing or real life, normal subjects, I think it's important to just take the pressure off of it and just have fun. Follow your curiosity. Get your brain going, because that helps any creative mind. If you like these sit-down videos though, let me know in the comments. I did another one of these videos. I'll link it in the little end card. I don't know which side it is, also in the description. But that video was about a November to January writing challenge from the Pathfinders Writing Collective. It was a really fun video, but that was another sit-down video where we just chat. Let me know what you think. I would love some feedback on my videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Go have fun and learn something. Whatever you want, just go have fun. As always, thank you so much for watching. And real quick, Notion template in the description. It's free. You just need an account. The instructions are right on there. I included a little box on how to get it started and everything, so go check it out. And if there is any problems with the link, let me know. Okay, great, thanks. Bye. covers and book covers and Curie letters. Curie? What the fuck? How do you say that word? Curie? Query? Query.